Today's topic is going to tackle what skills it takes to really grow a profitable, sustainable PR business in the year 2025 and moving forward. Because we are currently in the midst of some pretty major economic shakeups. We have AI overload, and we know PR pros are being hit from all sides with all of this change and transition. So whether you're running a solo shop or you're scaling an agency, you need more than just great pitching skills. That, of course, is core to the service you're providing. But in order to grow a thriving, profitable business in these uncertain times, I have 5 must-have abilities and strategies for you that will help you stay sharp, resilient, and ready to lead the way no matter what gets thrown your way. And right now it does feel like we are having a lot thrown our way, and I am not immune to any of it. If there are personal examples I can share, I will be doing that. It has been a rocky road. I am in my 20th year of business at Generation PR, and we were about 3 or so years in business when the housing crisis of 2008 hit all businesses, and we were able to not only survive, but really thrive during that time because our clients seemed to double down on their PR services in order to stand out from their competitors during that time, which was awesome. And then we had obviously another economic downturn several years later with COVID, 2020. That was, can you believe, 5 years ago, which is like, it just blows my mind. It feels like forever ago, and somehow it feels like it could have been last year. It's very weird. Time has never felt more confusing and baffling or misleading than it has for me, at least in the last 5 years. And I don't know if that's because my kids are getting older and their school time is just absolutely flying by. I mean, I cannot believe that we are approaching summer already. They just had their spring break, and I have a kid entering high school and one finishing middle school, and that happened in 4 seconds. I mean, when COVID started, I had a second grader and a third grader. So to me, it feels like that math ain't mathin', but it clearly is. So kind of insane. And so now we're experiencing this shakeup with the economy and the tariffs that are being implemented across the globe. And candidly, it is impacting my business. I've had a client that was ready to sign with us that had to pause because of the uncertainty of importing products here because they're an outside the US company. And I also had a client that had to not renew our contract. They were in a month-to-month situation, and we were doing so great. I mean, crushing it for them. And they were like, oh, it's so sad that we have to do this. But this tariff situation has made us had to, double our products. And so in order to not pass those expenses on to the consumer, we're having to cut our expenses. And for now, PR is one of them, but we will be back. So that sucks. It's different. It feels different this time because there is so much volatility with what is happening with these tariffs. Every day there's new news around it, tariffs coming and going. So like all the other situations, we will ride it out. But I do believe in this era, we need additional skills. We need abilities that will help us sustain. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about, because for all of you, including for me, I want us to have healthy, successful businesses that weather this storm and anything else that comes our way. And AI is a factor that is not going anywhere. It is here to stay. So we have to talk about that. We have to embrace that as PR pros. Let's talk about these skills that we need in order to have lasting careers and thriving businesses in these uncertain economic times and just new, different technologies that lie ahead. So 5 abilities I'm going to share with you. The first, and this has always been relevant as a PR pro, but having the power to translate complex topics into something that is compelling. So being a PR pro means becoming a fast learner, turning something complicated into something compelling. We can get handed a niche, something technical, something that might be a completely foreign subject to us, and we have to make them make sense for the media. If you're working with a client, we definitely love working within a niche where we can really dive deep and become a subject matter expert. But from time to time, we do get presented situations where everything is just new to us. Like you get a client in fintech or biotech or some other tech that you barely knew existed before they reached out. We've all had to research like crazy to turn that into something that was compelling and click-worthy. So not only do you have to dive in deep quickly to understand it, you have to come from a level of understanding where you can distinguish what makes it interesting, what makes it click-worthy, compelling for an editor to be like, that's really a strong angle. Let's discuss it. That is where we dive deep with research and tell ourselves that we need to know everything possible about a subject. And this is that human power of translating something complex into something that can be easily digested. It's like breaking down a complex topic so that your mom can understand it. Now, my mom is very smart and she understands everything, but sometimes when it's a tech related situation, you have to present those terms in a way that the media can quickly understand just by glancing at it. And that is a skill that is incredibly important to PR pros, always has been and still remains. So don't lose sight of that important skill. Also, stay curious. This is where PR pros that are asking the right questions, that are diving deep into like a tech related industry that might be kind of foreign to them, but they want to have an understanding. It's about staying curious. And that is going to continue to make you relevant. This is where you are asking better questions, more questions of your audience, of your peers, of your mastermind group. We just had an incredible mastermind call today for the Pitch Lab. First, we do coaching calls that are like hot seat discussions. This was more of a co-working call on a certain topic. And the people that got the most out of their time on this call, that walked away with one of their goals achieved in that short period of time, that focused attention, they asked great questions. They asked their peers for input. And when you have this level of curiosity, that is going to keep your pitches sharp and your strategies fresh. You cannot get stuck in this what's worked before. You know, what got you here won't get you to that next level. And curiosity is how you unlock those new doors. Another thing that is relevant for us is adaptability. This is our growth insurance. In the year 2025, adaptability isn't just about staying flexible with your pitching process. It's about running your agency in a way that can withstand this real world volatility, this time of uncertainty with global policy changes and tariffs that are also changing daily, it seems. They're shaking up entire industries. They're shaking up global economies. I mean, it's insane how quickly the tariff news has completely changed so many businesses and has really caused immense problems for some business owners. It's very sad. Every day I listen to The Daily, which is the New York Times podcast, and they always have a deep dive on something really timely and topical. And they interviewed a business owner. She has a baby and kids brand. I remember her on Shark Tank. And she was very smart and very savvy and had thought of every possible way to deal with these tariffs. But when she broke it down, just one business owner and her reality for what these tariffs meant to her business from real dollars and real impact. I mean, she had leveraged her home to get a loan to pay for inventory that was created in China when these tariffs were not, she had tariffs, but they were baked into the price of her products. They were already factored. And the tariffs went up so much on her that just to pay for her products, her $80,000 or $90,000 worth of products to be brought to the US would have cost her over $300,000 just to get the products here. She had thought about retooling here in the US, and she walked through how that wasn't a possibility and how it might have been a possibility, but what those costs would look like for her and what the timeline would look like. And she also talked about thinking about routing products through a foreign entity and importing from another company, but that breaks the law when it comes to country of origin. This was a smart, savvy entrepreneur who had thought through every possibility. And sadly, the podcast ended and it was kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have 5 months before I lose my house. And it was gut wrenching. And that is what's happening to so many business owners. And typically, our clients are those sizes of business that have these things happen to them. And so it is rough out there, but we want to be able to weather this storm where we have long-term clients pull back or pause entirely. And I want to give you tools and strategies to build a business that will ride through these waves without capsizing. So a couple thoughts that we had in our community shared are build flexible service structures. So we have both retainer and project-based work. Typically, I don't love project-based work because I feel like there is a lot of scope creep that happens. However, if you structure a project like a done-for-you premium offer that you create for your high-level clients who might not be a fit for ongoing retainers, something like that has a finite deliverable. And when you turn it over, it's done and there's no scope creep. When I see scope creep, it usually happens around events or like a short time press push, or a client says they want a little shot in the arm when it comes to getting press. I hate that expression so much. They want a shot in the arm, definitely has scope creep because you start generating opportunities and then you're no longer working with them. And then your editor contacts come back and they want to hear more. And you're like, what do I do? Do I drop this opportunity that I generated and a possible outcome that I could get as case study example and work as results to show other clients, look what I can do, and to maintain those great relationships with your editors? You definitely don't want to turn over the contacts to your client that's no longer paying for your time and service. So what do? That's where we see scope creep. That's why I don't love project-based work. However, this done-for-you premium offer, think about this, okay? A VIP strategy day. This could be where you do a media audit and a positioning revamp for a certain client that might not be in a position to have an ongoing retainer. And this could look like a 90-day visibility plan. You could charge between $5,000 and $10,000 for this offer that is kind of like a white glove service. Get your media game tight in one day. So it's a deep dive one day, and it could be for brands or experts who need a solid visibility strategy quickly. So this is a one-on-one high touch session with you, or if you want to leverage a team member to do that and they're great, use them too, and craft a customized PR plan. And that could include press angles, which if you know your niche, they will come flying out of you, no problem, right? You are going to sit and chat and ask all the questions, and you will be thinking quickly of a bunch of different angles. And then when you're looking at the next 90 days, you can build it out in a way where it's timed appropriately with what the media is thinking about and when for long and short lead strategies, and explain that to your client. You can include pitch templates or craft a pitch that they can leverage and use and edit, show them how to change it up, but including pitch templates, a media list if you want to share those contacts. You're not going to give a few contacts and somebody's going to rip off your agency. If you give them the contacts and have a solid agreement that states that they can use them for their own purposes and not to share, and you trust that they are going to not send junk and spam these editors, if you believe that they're a client of integrity and they're not going to be like gross and sleazy about it, then that's a great value add. This could also be where you are looking at whether they are ready to be part of an affiliate program or even set up their affiliate program. and do an audit on that and give them suggestions on how they can get moving on that and give them a 90-day implementation roadmap. This could be a one-day offer and you could charge $10,000 for something like that. And that is not a retainer that's ongoing. But if you're feeling that your workload is declining, that could be an opportunity to present something to a prospective client that cannot afford a retainer. And it ain't nothing, right? You can also think about a new income stream, which could be like a template shop. I have obviously a digital coaching side of my business, and we have a lot of done for you resources and a lot of, online education, and we call them resources. They're like templates and tip sheets and checklists and things that you can use in your own business. You can create something like that, a template shop, which use your proprietary tools. You could decide what you're willing to share and not. I feel personally, I'm open to sharing so much that I have in my business and how I do things. That's what Generation Academy is all about. That's what this podcast is about, because I feel like there's enough work to go around. I know that's a little bit in contradiction to what I'm saying about this economy, but it's impacting all of us kind of similarly. But I do feel like there is a lot of, for me, personal value in living my purpose and my mission to support women, entrepreneurs, and give all of us a framework for how to build a business that will support the kind of lives and lifestyle that we want to have. And so for me, that means, how can I help make your life better? Let me share things that are going to get you great results, that are proven in my business, that will help fast track your results. So we offer all of that. You could create similar resources too, like media list trackers, pitch templates that are designed by niche. Maybe it is something that walks them through a process to build a press plan. It could be email swipe files. These could sell for $27 to $197, let's say. And that could potentially feed into your higher ticket offers. So somebody might come in and get a pitch template for their niche and then decide, this is really good. And if this is like their inexpensive thing, maybe I could do more with them. Maybe they can tell me how to use it. And then they can step into that VIP day for, $5,000 to $10,000 with you, and you can have a bigger relationship with them. This is also a way for you to create a resource, take your know-how, what's in your brain, what people pay you the big bucks for, package it once and sell it over and over again. Or if clients can't afford your services, sell them into something less expensive. You could have a link in your Instagram or your TikTok, and people can buy directly from your template shop. Another thing to keep in mind during this time is really staying in close communication with your clients and being proactive about rescoping work when you see changes coming. This is where you're anticipating that their needs are going to change because the economy is changing, or their reality of their expenses might be changing. And think about how you can best support them when you see these changes coming, and kind of rescope the work. So maybe instead of specific retainer for media outreach services, maybe you're supporting them with that affiliate model where you're setting up their affiliate presence and optimizing it for the media. It could be doing copywriting or other kind of positioning for them, cutting back your services or letting them pause, which we don't love doing. But I think whatever you can do to proactively support them with the financial volatility, having them pause and be on the radar, kind of when things pick up, you're going to come back rather than terminating the agreement, is a better option to me than just, saying, okay, let's not renew. You want to give them that opportunity to maybe take 2 months and then reevaluate. You want to keep the doors open. Protect your own cash flow by diversifying your client roster across different geographies or different industries, something that can help when certain industries are hit harder by economic changes. If you've lost a client or maybe two, like me, because of tariffs, you're not alone. And what helps here is having services that aren't tied to product launches. Hello, thought leadership, positioning a client as an expert, getting them visibility by weighing in and sharing their journey, their story, their proven process, their inspirational founder story in order to get that visibility that has nothing to do with the product launch. And you also want to have a pipeline of clients that don't rely on one industry or one offer, because if that industry tanks for some reason, like, new technology or the housing industry or luxury travel or something along those lines that maybe people cut back on, you don't want to be stuck with one niche that is decimated by an economic downturn, or one offer that's no longer appealing because it's an expensive ongoing offer that might take a little while to see results and they don't have that kind of runway. You want to have different types of clients and offers in your pipeline and in your kind of like offer suite. The PR pros who stay booked in 2025 are the ones who treat adaptability as a business asset. What do I mean by that? You're ready to reposition your services. You're ready to repitch your retained clients and find out from them, how can I support you? How can we continue to be an asset to you? We're willing to be flexible and adapt to whatever is your biggest need at the moment. This is where adaptability is where you lead with strategy when things get uncertain, which is how these times feel. I feel like we've been saying for 5 years, these are uncertain times, and it feels more uncertain right now than even it did during COVID to me. I don't know. Also, we want you mastering impeccable communication. This is communication where you are going to connect deeply with your clients, with your media contacts. Clear, thoughtful communication is the backbone of every thriving PR business, and the way that you communicate sets the tone for how your clients and media contacts are going to continue treating you. Are they going to turn to you as a valuable resource and partner to them during crazy times? You're going to get it and understand what they need and how to have their back? Are you going to be rigid and inflexible and demand that they ride out their entire contract without having any empathy for their current situation that didn't exist when they signed the contract? You want to build respectful, strategic relationships, not just with your clients, but with your journalist contacts. This is about relationship PR. That's all we teach in Generation Academy. We do not teach spray and pray. It doesn't work. In the era of AI, especially, you want that personal connection. When it comes to your clients, you want to get clear on your clients' messaging and mirror back to them their vision in a way that is really irresistible to the media. So they might have an idea and they might want to see a certain outcome, but it's our job to communicate that in a way that is going to make the media want to talk to us right now and hear more about our pitch angles or our ideas for them during these times. So, being a really thoughtful communicator, listening, understanding the greater picture of what's going on right now for your client, for your journalist contacts, the uncertainty they're facing, the economy as a whole, your niche as a whole, the world of media as a whole, just really understanding at a deep level and having deep empathy. That's really important. Also, build systems and processes. I cannot express to you enough how important this is. I touched on it a bit in our money series that just concluded, and talking about how you can build in systems into your business that will allow you to step away if you would like to. It will allow you to take a trip. It's the only way that you could ever think of possibly selling your agency, is if you have systems and processes that have been implemented and they're proven, and your team can run when you're gone, or your company can run without you. That's what makes it an appealing asset. So create communication templates for client follow-ups, client updates. It could be a client comms tracker that puts them at ease. They can see exactly who you're pitching and when. I mean, you're not giving them your contacts. You're not giving them your proprietary information, but you're giving them peace of mind, and they're seeing how you are pitching and when you're following up and what pitches people have received and what the status is of those pitches. You can create a process around following up with the media. You can have an onboarding process, a workflow for your team. This removes decision fatigue and keeps everyone aligned, and it keeps you from having to constantly reinvent the wheel every time you get a new client or every time you offboard a client, and that will save you so much time. Another thing is to think about setting goals based on your ideal future. So think of taking the steps and making the decisions that will allow you to be the go-to agency, the go-to PR pro for the dream clients that you absolutely love, with happy retainer agreements in place. You have a booked out business, streamlined communication. That means probably not taking on clients that are not a fit, just because it's work, and work is great to have because it means money. But even during uncertain times, try to set the goals that you have based on what you want your ideal future to look like. So when, you're moving forward and you're looking to retain bigger clients for, more higher retainers for services that you're offering on an ongoing basis, what steps do you have to take now to have this fully booked out business with your dream clients coming to you because they see what you were able to do for other companies in their industry, and they want the same from you. You want to, think about kind of financial and logistical considerations. Like anytime you have poor communication with your clients, it leads to churn. But when you have great communication, you have a client that knows what you're up to, they feel really confident in the work you're doing, and they don't have to question, what is happening right now. That will lead to referrals, repeat clients, extended retainers ongoing, and long-term trust, especially when you help them weather the storm and you show up to them not as an outside service provider, but as a partner, an extension of their team. You're in it for the long haul. You care about the health and the economic success of their business, and you're here to offer your support however you can, even if it means backing off in order to give them the best chance to thrive. And establish how often you're checking in with your clients, or how often you and your team follow up with the media, and when you review your team deliverables, and then stick to it, so that you have these processes in place and you don't have to constantly think about, oh, what did I have to check in on, or when was I supposed to follow up? This is where you have these systems working for you and reminding you and giving you the prompts so that it comes out of your brain and you don't have to worry about it. You can have your team on a certain cadence with following up, or if it's you and you're a one-man show, set these reminders. That is a system. It doesn't have to be a whole complex tool and software. Leverage your iPhone, leverage your Google Calendar, and all of the reminders you can create for yourself just to, set these things and get them out of your brain and keep your head clear so that you can focus on revenue generating activities and not trying to remember all of the balls you have in the air. This is a big one. And this is where we are leveraging AI without losing that human touch. AI is a tool for us as PR professionals. It is not a replacement for us. It can help you move faster, but only if you are still bringing your know-how, your brain, your heart, your connection, your instincts to the table. AI can help you jumpstart research. It can help you test pitch angles. It can help streamline your administration processes, your onboarding, your team management. But you want to always humanize and personalize anything that AI generates before you hit send. Personalization is still what cuts through the noise. This was a big topic of discussion today on our mastermind session that we did with our Pitch Lab members, and just seeing how some of these members take that and run with it and make it where you can't ignore their messages because you know that it is written by a human and it is just for you. There's no way that AI wrote this. AI don't assume it can do your pitching for you, because journalists can smell a robot-generated mass pitch from a mile away. Promise you they can. You are not going to outsmart them. So use it to support your work, not to replace your writing, not to replace your strategy. It can help you kickstart things. It can help you get some ideas generated, but that's where you step in. Use it as a time saver, not a replacement for your own expertise. So a quick recap for you from today's discussion. Having the ability to translate complexity into clarity is always a must-have important skill for PR pros. Let your curiosity drive innovation. Ask great questions. Ask questions of your peers, your community, your clients, your media contacts, your industry as a whole, and let what you're learning drive opportunities for you and your business. Build an adaptable business that can pivot during any global shifts like we're experiencing now. Master client and media communication so that you're building trust, you're building real connection, and that leads to client retention. And use AI strategically, but do not ever forget that human element. Don't just take what it gives you and just slap your name on it and send it out. That's a big no. And it can be detected from your contacts you're trying to build trust with from a mile away, and nothing will get you blacklisted faster than that. Stay steady when others are panicking by creating a resilient, flexible agency model. That could be offering a one-on-one deep dive white glove service, leveraging your processes into certain templates and workflows that you're sharing with others so that you can get them onboarded in a small way in your business by selling them a process. And then maybe they come in for one of those one-on-one days or ultimately become a retainer client because they see your level of genius just in one piece of your business. So what if you could wake up every single day excited to work, excited to get to build your business, because it is a schedule that you made and you are working around the kind of life that you want to have with your family, time for yourself, time to invest in hobbies. I am gardening, like old lady type gardening. I've got a potting bench. I have a compost barrel thing, you guys. Like I put the stuff in and I spin it around. I can't tell you. And I'm gardening in the middle of the day. Anytime I feel like I need a little bit of a break or I want to get some fresh air, I open the door, all the pets run out. Yes, my 2 cats and my dog, we run out and they are so happy to be out in the yard, and I feel like I have company, and I love getting my hands in the dirt, and I love watching my plants grow and my succulents propagate. I am all in, you guys. And my husband's like, I have not seen you this happy and calm and centered in a long time. And I love it. I love this for you. Like, do more of this. This is where I am. So having time for your hobbies, having time for self-care, that is a form of self-care. Anything like that is a form of self-care. And generating epic results for your clients. This is because there are so many people out there in our community that are struggling to scale their PR businesses. So we created a free challenge that is going to transform you into that business savvy PR pro that I know you can be. It is called the Path to Profitability Challenge. And in this free challenge, you are going to uncover how to become a thriving PR agency owner by learning how to make more money and create more flexibility by using our proven processes. I'm using them in my agency, and hundreds of other PR pros who have gone through our programs have implemented them successfully in their businesses too. So they work. Don't just take me as one case study. There are hundreds of others that have used them to make more money and have more flexibility in their lives. You are going to discover my 4-part framework. I call it the Path to Profitability framework, to determine the services that you need to add to your business to improve your bottom line without adding hours to your work week. So you're going to add new services that will generate revenue without creating more work for you. I mean, that's the goal here. And building your new business pipeline to get clients lining up who will pay your premium retainer because you are the go-to authority that they need to have working for them. Implementing our niche narrowing process will help you find your dream clients that will light you up every single day. And like I said, this challenge is totally free, which I love. Like, let's keep those expenses chill right now because it's rocky out there. So if you're interested, you can register for free at generationacademy.com/challenge. That's generationacademy.com with a J /challenge. We will have a link in the show notes. And in the meantime, go out there and kick ass this week. I will be here crushing it too. And I'll see you in the next episode. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Peace.